Okay, how's everybody doing tonight? Great, wonderful, perfect. Good, let's get started. First of all, I want to go over what we're going to be doing tonight, or you turned in last week, which was the walk around campus. You had I believe you had nature, you had indoors, you had some outdoor. And tonight what we're going to do is look at a few examples here in a second of those that submitted your sets already. And just kind of, I'll randomly, I told you that last week, just kind of pick people and look at your stuff here each week a little bit to see how you're doing and kind of show off your work. This week we're going into week 4, and we're specifically going to be looking at some cheat sheets we're going to look at as far as for photographers that we'll be looking at. It's actually for the in class, after we do our quiz here in a second, we're going to be looking at 3 links in the in class, which you can use. You can store them on your phone or your tablet, or print them out and put them in your camera bag. And there's 3 cards we'll look at in a second. I've already had them opened up there, and it allows you, basically gives you real quick tips and tricks on camera. Helps. You have a Beecher's photo cards we'll look at. It's 37 pages of tricks for photographers, talking about settings and everything that we're going over this semester. It's all in here and spells it out for you. We're going to go this one sideways. It's actually going, it's 15 pages. It's a little bit, I don't know. It's okay. It's not too bad. And then this one here, which is 2 sheets only. It's Jim's photo sheet. It goes over all the settings, main settings, what they mean, what they're used for, and it talks, has questions on each one of them that you might have, like what's the best focal length, what you see is not what you get, and it talks about color and control. So we'll talk about which ones I suggest, which ones I like, and then you can kind of use which ones you like as well. So it's nice to have that in your bag or on your phone or in your tablet to go over. The in-class exercise, once we go over that, we'll be looking at taking your photos from last week and creating a contact sheet. For the class in here, we're actually going to be using iPhoto to create it if we're on Macs, but at home, I believe I have the steps to do Picasa that you could use as well. And so contact sheet using Picasa, you can do that at home, or in class we're actually going to be using iPhoto. In fact, if I go back to the modules for the class, let me go here real quick. I'm going to click on modules and go up to the very top. Yeah, in the very top module called course documents, I have the Picasa photo management. Creating contact sheet for this week is the one that you'll want for home use for Picasa. And basically this one shows you step by step how to create a contact sheet in Picasa. I'll go full screen view there. And so it's pretty simple. You follow those steps how to do it. And the purpose of contact sheet, we'll talk about why you need them as a photographer, what the purpose is, why you have to have them, or you should have them when you take photos. And again, that's at the very top of our website. If you click on modules on the left side, you'll see the course documents. And inside course documents is a number of items we use this semester: Pixlr, contact sheet, post photos using TinyPic, Picasa photo management. And then we'll go over, after we do the in-class on thumbnails, creating contact sheet, we're going to go right into the take-home. The take-home for this week is using ISO again. I want you to really focus on ISO. We did ISO last week. We're doing ISO this week. This week you're going to be focusing on ISO, and you're also going to be using 3 different settings for ISO, and we'll go over that. And you'll also determine on this one, you're not going to be using white balance, just only manipulating ISO. But the natural lighting around where you take the photo will be important to focus on this week, and we'll talk about that. And you'll also be creating a contact sheet at home with these pictures that you'll be taking. And I believe it's 30 pictures in total you'll be taking for the at-home take-home. So, hopefully I've rambled enough to give you time to study for the quiz. And week 4 is where we want to go for the quiz. And let me show you what it looks like before you go there. If you go to week 4 and you click on the digital photographer terms take home, I'll show you what it looks like first on the overhead, and then I'll let you go for it. When you start the quiz, it is closed notes for this one, so you can keep looking while I'm talking here if you want to. All you need to do is match the term on the left with the drop down, which gives you the choices. Okay, so the first one says a need to control the depth of field, and then it gives you all the choices available, what that definition term is, what matching word is it here that is the need to control the depth of field. So the easiest one when you're doing matches, the easiest way or pointers I could give you is go through the list the first time, the first pass, and select the ones you know 100% what they are. Boom, no biggie. Then second pass, get the next set that you're pretty close to 100%, and that should be second pass for most students. But if you have to go third pass, do third pass. But that first pass, do everything you know, skip the ones you don't know totally, or you're kind of questioning a little bit. And then that'll kind of break down and delimit your choices for the second pass around. Make sense? Trying to think what else. It is not timed, even though the timer goes, it's not timed. When you're finished, just be quiet for those that are still working, and I'll just kind of walk around, and whenever I see everybody's done, we'll go on to looking at the flashcards cheat sheets, okay? Any questions before you begin? Okay, so if you do have any paper that you're using to study, if you could just turn it over and go and begin.
Hamster died.
Do what?
Hamster making it work.
The hamster?
One running in the wheel.
Oh, your internet died? Oh, just click the back button. It does that with those documents. And I do give you 2 attempts. I forgot to mention that. You do get 2 attempts to take this. Apologize for not mentioning that. So if you do want to take it the second time, if you're not satisfied with the first, you can take it a second time. Mhm.
It's not letting me take it again.
It's not letting you take it again.
No, just I keep clicking at it.
Mhm.
For the
Mhm.
assignment that I turned in
Mhm.
Sunday, I did your example and listed all the things, but I didn't just
Oh, it's set 3.
yeah, because I thought that would be. I didn't know how else you were going to see it.
Week 3. Last week was week 3. Yeah, this is week 4. You just set 3. Set 3.
It just says week 3 and the take home for 4.
Oh, okay.
Which you mean week 4 is that, so I didn't do it wrong.
No, you didn't do it wrong. You did it right. Yeah, because this is technically week 4.
Okay, that's
And last
what I
week was week
thought,
3.
and I'm like, maybe you didn't want me to combine them.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. You're good. You got about 4 or 5 people still taking. the quiz, so no rush. You're fine. Those of you finished, just remain quiet till they're done, and I'll tell you when everybody's done here.
have to click each picture.
What?
You have to click each picture.
Are you trying to download it from Flickr?
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to do a screenshot of it, but I can show you how to do it in here in just a second because Flickr won't let you download a picture from that way. Okay, anybody still taking the quiz? Okay, let me show you on the overhead real quick. Those of you that don't have your pictures with you tonight, you don't have your photos with you, I'll show you a trick on the Mac that does work. I've got up in front of me, let's see here, Concrete Row 63. Who's that? Concrete Row 63, okay. I've got your setup here for week 3. And by the way, we'll look at these in just a second, everybody. So I've got, let's see, Concrete Rose, I've got Catherine, I've got Allison, and I've got Blonde Beauty. All right. Now, the reason I picked these, I just, again, picked these random, but there was also another reason why I picked them was I like how you guys set up your sets. Week 2 and 3 is correct. When you go to your sets, they have their sets set up like I want. Each one of them, week 2 and week 3. We're going to be looking at week 3 here in a second. But I'll use, let's see, Concrete 63. I'm going to click on hers. Now, here's a trick on a Mac. Well, I guess I should unlock it first so you can see it. There we go. Now I'll show you what I'm talking about earlier. The sets, I like how they have them set up here. Weeks 2, weeks 3. Weeks 2, weeks 3. Week 2, week 3. So what you can do on a Mac is you'll notice on this one, if I do a control, the bottom left key on your keyboard is called control. If you press and hold the control key and then click on one of these pictures, it does not give you an option to save a picture. Okay? But what you can do is this. For what we're going to do tonight, this works fine, by the way. We don't need a full quality image. If you do a Shift Command 4, the Shift key, the Command key, and the number 4, all 3 keys at the same time, you'll see a crosshair show up like mine on the overhead. And don't press the mouse down, but just move it around. You'll see little numbers change. That's the X and Y coordinates of where your mouse is on the screen. And what's really cool is you can do this. I can take, if you'll look on the overhead, I'm going to go ahead and go up in the upper left corner of this picture here. And I'm going to press down and then drag to the bottom right and then release. And what's just happened is it's saved that image to the desktop. Okay? And so you can do that on Flickr on the Mac easily and download all the photos for your set 3, your week 3, onto your desktop that way. Again, it's Shift Command 4, and you can do this on any website that has a picture that will not let you download it. If you want that picture for inspiration or whatever, Shift Command 4 on a Mac. If you're a Windows person at home, you can do a snippet tool. The snippet tool is great to use for Windows Vista 7 and Windows 8. The snippet tool. Yes.
I use Fastone Capture.
Fastone Capture works good too.
It's really good for
And it's free too, right? It is. Fastone Capture.
And then
There's a paid version of that. I'll write that on the board too. Yeah, that is a good one for Fastone Capture, right?
right.
And if you guys Google
so
that.
I actually paid for it because it's like $19 and I use it all the time.
But the free version is fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fastone Capture might be one you guys Google if you're Windows people and download that. So you go through and again, for what we're doing tonight for thumbnails, we're not going to need high quality anyway. So while you're doing that, I know some people are still doing the Shift Command 4 to do these. We're going to look at some of these examples from this last week. Again, I just picked these here. The other thing I noticed too, which I asked you to do, was to label the content of each picture accordingly. Like this one here is Nature 100 Daylight, Nature 200 Cloudy, and Nature 400 Incandescent. We're going to look at Nature first for this one. So I'm going to click on Nature to see it in full view on the screen here. Okay. So there is Nature 100 Daylight. I'm going to hit the right arrow key on my Mac. nature 200 cloudy, and nature 400 incandescent. Now, what do you notice about let's look at incandescent. Notice how it looks. And then I want you to look at cloudy and daylight. Out of the three, which one drastically changes the color? Incandescent. And notice it gives it what color of tint? A bluish tint, because that's what incandescent light gives, is actually a bluish tint on anything that you're taking a picture of. And so the whole purpose of this take home was to see how these filters, these white balance filters, actually affect your photo. Also, what affects this photo on this one is it's 400 ISO, right? A little brighter. 200 ISO, but cloudy. Cloudy makes up for the fact that it's only 200 ISO, and it makes it a little bit brighter, that white balance filter for cloudy. So even though it's 200 cloudy, you'll notice it's actually lighter. It looks lighter anyway than the 400 incandescent. And 400 ISO should actually be a brighter picture, but because of the incandescent, it makes it a little darker. In fact, let me turn off the lights here. Okay, so this is the 200 cloudy. And then let's look at the 400 incandescent. So remember, as you go up higher in ISO, it's supposed to increase the brightness. And then if we go back to the 100, which is the lowest ISO, daylight, okay, it's not going to be too bright. It's going to be, fairly nice. So let's go back to that set. Okay, so we did the daylight, or I'm taking it back, the nature. Let's do the car one on this one. No, let's do this one here, the lounge daylight. The lounge, 100 daylight, lounge 200 cloudy, lounge 400 incandescent. So let's start out with the lounge 100 daylight. So this is lounge 100 ISO, daylight filter for white balance. Lounge 200 cloudy. You notice it makes it a little bit brighter on that one. 200 cloudy will do that. And then finally the 400 incandescent. 400, even though it's higher ISO, combined with incandescent, actually makes it darker. The incandescent will, a little bit darker. And because it's a wood tone already, you'll notice on this wood tone for both the first and second picture, that's more of a natural color for the wood tone. But you'll notice what the incandescent does with the wood tone. It kind of adds a bluish tint to this right here, which makes it kind of a brown, a really dark, kind of a darker brown actually, when you combine it together. So that's good. Good job. Catherine. Raise your hand, Catherine, so everybody knows who you are. Okay, so Catherine, we have week 3 here, and she's got garden statue 400. Let's blow this up.
I put that up there because I liked that photo. It was an accident.
Okay, all right. I will do another one then. We'll do this one. Fuchsia 400 shade, fuchsia 200 shade, fuchsia 100 sun, and fuchsia 100 shade. All right, so let's see, got 200, 100, 100, okay. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the 200 shade, 100 sun, and 100 shade. We'll do that. Okay, this one's a 200 shade, 100 sun. Remember, 100's the lower end of the ISO, and she used a sun balance. which will darken it a little bit because the sun white balance actually thinks it's bright outside. You're telling this camera it's bright outside, so let's darken it up a little bit, which it did. And then 100 shade. 100 is actually lower, the lowest ISO for most cameras, and shade will actually brighten it up a little bit. Yes?
I noticed the reason why I put these two in is the background green really changed
Uh-huh.
color from the shade and the
Yeah,
sun.
oh yeah, definitely, you're right. Yeah, because if you look at the background green here on this one, notice right in this area here, and if you go to the sun, yeah, you can tell a big difference.
The yellow.
Yeah, it does look kind of yellowish. Okay, so
Closer to the real color, but
that's okay. No, you did good. So let's go to the third one. Good job. Allison, let's see here. Raise your hand, Allison. All right. Let's see. We'll choose a Fitness Planet one. That's because you can see some letters and sky and everything, so that's good. Okay, so she's got Fitness Planet 100 ISO, 100 ISO sunny, 200 ISO cloudy, and 400 ISO white balance, fluorescent. So let's look at the 100 ISO sunny first. Okay, so it's one of the lowest ISO settings, and she has it set to sunny, so it'll darken it up a little bit. Set to sunny. 200, a little higher ISO, but it's set to cloudy, so it's actually going to brighten it up just a little bit because it's cloudy. And then thirdly, she's got 400 with a fluorescent. So let's see here if we can tell a difference. We'll go between this one and the next one right before this one. So this is 400 fluorescent. This one's 200 cloudy. Let's focus on the yellow in the Planet Fitness. Let's see what else I can see there. Let's look at the clouds.
A little bit brighter, I think.
Do I now?
The 400 look just a little, the yellow is a little bit brighter.
It is, yeah, you're right, on the 200. And on the 400, yeah, it adds a little bit more to it, a little bit more sharpness to it for that.
the concrete color's completely wrong.
Yep, you're right. Exactly. So you can see that how each one of these make it look a little bit different depending on what white balance you use in correspondence with the ISO. Next, and good job on that. Next is Blonde Beauty. Leela, raise your hand. Okay. And so we'll go to Leela's week 3, and we'll choose one of her sets here. Let's see. I think I might choose that Gazebo one. It looks like I like that one. Okay. Let's choose this Gazebo one. Okay, so she's got Gazebo 3, 2, and 1. Okay, this Gazebo 3 is a 400 ISO fluorescent white balance. So 400 ISO fluorescent, remember that. This one here is a 200 ISO cloudy. So we'll go back to the 400 fluorescent. What do you notice different? What did the fluorescent do to this picture? It made it, I mean, you can immediately see the bluish tint on that white Gazebo and even on the concrete. And so here we have cloudy 200. We'll go back to the one we just went at. The cloudy 200, you can notice, makes it quite a bit brighter. And then lastly is the 100 ISO daylight. And that one actually looks pretty normal as far as light goes. Even with 100, because she put daylight, even if it was direct sun above that gazebo, it looks like maybe the sun might have been shining through. It didn't overshadow or make it too bright. By just making a daylight white balance actually made it look nice. So good job on that. Okay, so that's some examples. And by the way, just to recap sets here real quick. What I want you, if you're not already doing this, I know most of you are, but if you're not doing that, make sure on your sets you're doing it like I've shown you here on these examples. You create your week sets, and then you drag your photos into those sets. And I'll go ahead and one last time showcase your guys' sets real quick, just how you've designed them, how you set them up. Let's see this one. Okay. Okay, so those of you that I showcased, thank you for doing a good job. You did a great job. Now we're going to go shift gears to come on, PDF. On week 4, we're going to go and look at some cards examples of cheat sheets, and I'll tell you which one I like. I've already picked one out. We're going to go over. It's in the week 4 notes, I believe. And there's 3 links. You can open all of them up if you want to. The one I'm going to focus on, though, is the one here, which is the name of the file is cheat sheet bag version.pdf. Okay, that's the one I want to focus on anyway. Okay, and I'll tell you why. So the reason I like this one is a couple reasons. One is they've got easy way to get to content, what you're needing, what you're looking for. So let me see if I can real quickly, I'm going to go back to this one. This view and blow it up just a little bit to where you can see it a little nicer. Okay. So I'm going to go back to page 1. Okay. So this is the one I like. It's Jim's photo cheat sheet. The other 2 are fine, but this one I like best. It's only 2 sheets in length. And I just like how it's laid out. I've used this for like the last 4 or 5 semesters, actually. Students seem to like it, and it's helpful. So like the first one is, when you pick up your camera, ask these questions. Is the light good? What direction is coming? What direction of the light? Shape and texture. How large is the light source? Contrast. What color is the light? White balance, like we just did this last week. How much light is there? Set the ISO. Which letter do you use on the exposure dial for depth of field, motion, or none of the above? What you see is not what you get, color and contrast. When should you not depend on light meter, tricky exposure situations? What's the best focal length? Changes shape and compress space, meaning the distance between your camera and what you're taking a photo of. All right. Is the light good? Number 2. This is a key question. Let's say you're photographing a cemetery for the cover of a mystery novel and for a Connecticut travel brochure. Different light is needed for each photograph. Like the one for a mystery novel, you probably want it to be a little darker and gloomy-ish. All right? And so that's what you're looking for. So regardless of the time of day, just from what you guys learned this last week, you could actually take the white filters you've used, white balance filters, and actually get a dark, gloomy look to any setting that you're in. All right? On what direction the light's coming from, on number 3, the direction of the light determines the shape and texture we see from the direction of the camera. Light from the direction of the camera shows as pop flash, produces few shadows. The lack of shadows makes the subject look flat with a little texture. And elderly social light will have fewer wrinkles, for example. Side lighting talks about adding in shadows, showing shape and texture. An elderly lobster boat captain will look more rugged due to the shadows. Backlighting such as sunset behind the subject, separates the subject from the background, and then the background is brighter and the subject is darker. So the list goes on and on of different helps for you. It's only 2 pages. I do like this one out of all of them. The next one I like next to this one, if I was to choose one, it's a longer paper, 37 pages, but it does have a lot of good resources in this one. It's just really long. Okay, it's not that it's not a bad one. It's a really good one. As far as going into definitions, going into um, all like white balance we just went over. It goes over that, what it's all about, how to use it, what type of light hues comes from it. So anyway, that's a good one to use as well. If I was going to pick two, that would be the two. But the first one's a 2-sheeter. Second one will be the 37 pager. The third one is the one I like the least. Not that it's not bad, it's just the one I like the least. Okay? So you can print these out. You can save them to your phone. If you can read PDFs on your phone, you can save them to your mobile device. If you can get away from printing, I would say don't print it and put it like on Dropbox, like I've done here. And if you've never heard of Dropbox, you don't have to have a mobile device, by the way, to use this service. I do want to recommend it because I just used Dropbox last night for my iPad development course. We did an iPad mini rollout. I think I emailed everybody the photos. The photos in that rollout were put in Dropbox, okay? So instead of using Flickr, one of the benefits of using Dropbox, I'll show you real quick. One of the benefits is, let me bring up the email I sent you guys earlier tonight of that event last night. Let me show you what benefit over Flickr that I see, because I have a number of photographers that use Dropbox. I had thought about using it this semester. That's not to say you can't use it, though, for your pictures, for your own personal pictures. But for this class, we'll keep using Flickr. But I'll tell you why I like it. So let's see. I'll just open up any of these here. There's a link to Dropbox. You can share a link once you've created it. Once you put something in a Dropbox folder, you can share it. What's great about it is, once you open up these pictures and to view them, they're downloadable. And so they're downloadable to anybody that you're sending them to. So family members that view it can right-click on it and download the original. You can even view the original in the browser if you want to. And you can use the right arrow key to navigate to the next photo. So when you guys sign up for Dropbox, it's free to sign up. They give you like 2 gigs space free. I think 3 gigs now, sorry. I think it's 3 gigs. If you add it to Facebook or promote it on Facebook, I can give you more space. So I recommend using it. And you can put anything in Dropbox, any file types you want. Word documents, PDFs, pictures, videos, whatever you can put in Dropbox. And once you put items in Dropbox, you can then share it easily just by right-clicking on the file and saying create a link. You create a link, and that's what I did in the email. I just created a link, and you guys were able to see that whole folder and to look at the contents of it. You can't add to that folder, but you can view all the contents of it. Yeah, do you have a question? Okay. Correct, right. Yeah, you just basically send people the link, and what I can do real quick just to show you, I mean, I use mine all the time, and you can buy a paid version of it, but I always use a free version. I just keep cleaning up the files I don't need each semester, but they do have a paid version that, like for businesses and stuff. But let me show you the example of the one that I did just tonight, or yet I actually did this morning for the photos. Okay, there's the unbox party that has all the photos in it. The 4 photos, right? And all you have to do, it's real simple. You just basically right-click on that folder and share it. Once you share that, click that share link, it brings up this file or this box here. You click get link, and it puts that memory of that link in your clipboard. And then basically you email that link to whomever, and now they can view that file. Okay? The other thing you can do to it as well is you can share it and add people's email addresses in here. They'll get an invite, and they'll have the ability to edit stuff in that folder. So if you had Word documents in there, or say you're working on a class project with a group of students or associates, you could actually have them share this folder with each other in your group, and you guys could collaborate on that document in real time. So that's kind of nice. Dropbox.com, definitely recommend it. With a raise of hand, how many uses this or has heard of Dropbox before? Okay, cool. And so a little over half of you have used it or you've heard of it. So I definitely recommend it. It's totally free. There's no reason why you shouldn't get one. It'll definitely help you.
Like, basically, I started using it because you couldn't only email certain size.
Yeah, right, exactly, right.
And so it was you send it and then
Yes.
Dropbox came after it. Actually.
Yeah, it's a good point because say you wanted to email someone 5 photos. Well, each one of those photos might be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 megs in size. Well, all free emails like Gmail or whatever only allows you to put like 25 megs attachment and that's it. Over that, it won't let you do it. Well, you can put all those photos in a folder like I've done here, share it with somebody and they can see all of them. And they can also download them. So, and what's great about Dropbox as well, besides being accessible from any web browser, is they have apps for all mobile devices. So whether you have a Droid, whether you have an iOS device, even Windows phones, all have Dropbox apps that you can download for free and connect to your Dropbox client. So definitely recommend it. So that's my spill on Dropbox. Okay, so we went over the cheat sheet. I told you ones I recommend. Now we're going to go over the contact sheet and we're going to be using iPhoto. Somebody get that light for me in the very back, please. Appreciate it. I have written up on the board the steps to fire up iPhoto. And so if you look at my screen, well, you can't even see the top of it. Anyway, at the very top of your Mac, there is a Go menu, but you have to click on the desktop to see it anywhere. And then you should see a Go menu. From the Go menu, you have an application menu. You see that? So you'll click on Go, then Applications. Once you click on Applications, you'll see all the list of applications on your Mac computer. And the one we're interested in is iPhoto. Okay, so go to Go, Applications, and then click on iPhoto. So go ahead and do that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to move my photos into a folder like you guys already have. Okay, so let me fire up iPhoto. Okay, let me tell you what iPhoto does. Pretty cool for Mac people. What iPhoto allows you to do, besides look at photos and import photos, you can do a little manipulation like you guys can do with the free program Picasa that I had you download for Windows. But what we'll see in a second is it allows you also to share your photos with anyone on a Mac computer in your environment. They can easily see your photos immediately. So we're going to show you how to do that in just a second. So first thing is, you got to have your photos on your desktop. Hopefully you have that done. Second, we fire up iPhoto. Third, we're going to actually create or import those photos into iPhoto. And a real easy way to do it, you just go to the File menu and select Import to Library. File menu, Import to Library. Once you click on the Import to Library, you're going to have to find your desktop, which should be on the left side on your Mac. If you look on the overhead, mine's under Favorites. You should have all files and desktop. And then there's my folder contact sheet that I created. And your guys' might just be called new folder, folder 1 or whatever. As soon as you click on the folder, you're then ready to click on the import button that's blinking in blue. You see that blinking in blue import button? Go and click that. And I'm going to walk around real quick before we go any further to make sure everybody has that.
You can also just drag the folder right onto
Yep, you could.
the lazy like that.
From flash drive, yeah, you're good. Just keep it like that. You're good. If you have it on a flash drive, you can keep it that way. You can import from there as well. I do recommend though dragging your pictures to your desktop, but if you have a flash drive and you didn't put it on there yet, don't worry about it. Okay, cool. Oh, that's fine. Good. No, you do the pixel route or the Picasa route on the steps. I have that on the document, top of our class. Yes. Do what now? Yes. Yeah. In fact, the steps. If you want to bring up the steps on your computer there in Picasa, yeah, you just follow those steps with Picasa and you're good. Do what now? Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Doing okay over here? Okay. Just want to come by and make sure you have what I have on the overhead before I go any further. Okay, cool. So you'll notice here, as soon as you imported those, it highlighted under recent last import. All you've got to do now is we're going to go up back to the file menu and we're going to select new album from selection. New album from selection. For the name of the album, I want you to type in your last name only. Your last name only for the name of the album. And make sure the checkbox is checked that says use selected items in the new album. Make sure that is selected. So as soon as you type in last name, make sure that checkbox is checked. You're ready to click create. Okay?